Hey there, team. Welcome to another lesson. Um, Yours truly, Arlen, here with you. Today's lesson is going to feel more like a discussion rather than a lesson, except that it's just me talking to myself, so that's normal. Even when the camera's not on, I don't know. It is what it is. So we're going to talk today about stairs, and specifically, we're going to get into hardwood stairs. Um, you'll learn about carpet on stairs at another time. Carpet on stairs is actually really easy, a lot easier than people first make it out to be. And when it comes to things like laminate stairs or LVP stairs, all that can come later too. Today, I really want to focus on sort of the stair terminology. Let's take a look at the agenda. I want to take a look at basic stair construction. When you think about a set of stairs, what are you really looking at? Basic stair construction. We'll talk a little bit about pricing hardwood stairs, and I want to use this to lead into a discussion about one of our suppliers, StairTech. Now, you'll hear me say this often. You don't have to use the suppliers that are here. You know, StairTech is a great supplier. I actually have used them many times in the past. They do a wonderful job. Yeah, like everybody else, every other supplier, they've had some issues here and there, but they seem to make good on things when they have their issues. One thing that I will say, StairTech has a phenomenal ordering system, and so I'm going to give you a little glimpse of that, and then in a subsequent module, you're going to see a video that I shot with Scott Brown from StairTech, where he can go into more details. So let's just dive right in. When you think about a set of stairs, you walk into a home and you see this staircase and maybe this carpet on it or whatever. We don't often think about what's underneath the stairs. And I want you just to understand just some basic terminology. Um, this isn't, I don't really want to get into too much depth here, but it's important for you to understand some some basic terminology because you're going to hear this in the field. And just like a lot of other things in the flooring industry and in construction, you know, the same word, like the word stringer, can be used to mean multiple things. So let's just start from underneath the stairs. So this is a picture inside a home that's being built. The stairs are, I mean, they're just being constructed, and you can see that somebody's taken like a 2x12 and has cut it into what looks like sawtooths. And when they put it on an angle, this is the beginning of the stairs, right? This is what's underneath those pesky stairs that you walk on. These are called stringers, and these are your structural stringers. So this is what's carrying the weight. When people are walking up and down the stairs, this is what's carrying the weight. Somebody steps on the stair tread, and that weight is transferred down to the bottom through the stringer. So stringer is the official name for this construction support element. Now, once you add other bits to it, the top board, the board that you actually walk on, is what's called the tread. So that's the piece that you walk on. That's the horizontal member, if you will. Those treads are put right across the stringers, and then the vertical part is the riser. So that really the function of the riser is just to honestly, it's just to hide what's behind it. There is no weight that gets, you know, the risers are not weight bearing. There's no weight that's put on the riser when somebody walks on the stairs. Their body weight transfers through the tread into the structural stringer. Risers are really just there to hide, you know, from seeing all this junk underneath the staircase. You'll also notice, like with this staircase, stairs go up and then there's a little landing, and then they turn and go up again, right? So you can have stairs, you can have treads, risers, stringer, landing somewhere in the middle. It's okay. All right. Um, Now, a little bit of terminology. So when you think about stairs, if I look at this staircase, well, we'll go ahead to this image. When I look at this staircase, there is a stringer, and here we go again. Now we're already using the same word twice, right? So in this picture, this stringer is sort of a support structural stringer. This is also called a stringer, but this is like your finished trim that's, you know, up against the wall. So instead of being against drywall, instead of the stair tread maybe going against a drywall, there's more than likely going to be, some people will call it a skirt board, some people will call it a stringer. Either way, you'll see that the tread in this particular case, both the left hand side and the right hand side are both enclosed by this stringer or by this this finishing trim that's on both sides. In this case, this is called boxed. And if you think about it, both sides of the stair, or neither end of the stair is finished. There's no reason for it to be finished because it's hidden. Compare that to this where it's open on one side. Okay, so in this case, it's open on one side. So it's closed on the other side. It's closed on this side. We would say that it's boxed on the right-hand side, and it's open on the left-hand side. Okay, now some people will simply call this open. Some people will say that it's finished on the left-hand side. Why left? Well, you always determine stairs left or right from standing at the bottom of the stairs and looking up at the stairs. So if I'm standing here at the bottom, I should put a little stick figure here. If I'm standing here looking at the bottom of the stairs and I'm looking up the stairs, this would be on the left-hand side. So this has a left return. Okay, this has a left return. In the tablet, you'll see this typed in as upholstered on one side. What does that mean exactly? Well, if you were doing carpet on this, you would have, let's say you'd had your spindles or your balusters, you got a railing up here and those balusters come down. The installer would actually upholster the carpet around those. And so sometimes in the industry, people will call this, even though there's no carpet on it at all, people will call this upholstered on one side. In this case, upholstered on the left side. So contrast that to a right return or upholstered on the right side. Once again, you've got a closed stringer or a skirt board on the left-hand side. I've got a right return. It's finished on the right-hand side. Okay, so this is upholstered on one side. Well, what if it's on both sides? Okay, well, I'm glad you asked. It could be upholstered on both sides. Okay, and so what you'll see is when you have a board like this, now this has a finished end on both sides, and that's very different than a board that doesn't have finished ends on both sides. So, and I mean, it's very different in terms of how it gets installed. It's very different in terms of what you're going to order. So let's say that you walked into a home and this home had carpet on the stairs and they wanted to remove the carpet and put hardwood treads in. They want to change it from a carpeted staircase to a hardwood staircase. Well, you can do that. It's not that terribly difficult, but one of the first things to understand is, are you ordering treads that are unfinished on both sides because it's a box staircase? Or is it finished on the left? Is it finished on the right? Or is it finished on both sides? Okay. So the first set of terminology to sort of think through is this whole idea of boxed versus finished or upholstered on one side or the other side. When you pull a staircase off, you're rarely, if ever, going to get into this. This is maybe this is a picture to scare people. I don't know. But the point here is that, this is what a staircase sort of looks like when the house is still under construction. You're not going to see it this way. When you pull carpet off a staircase, you're typically going to see treads that are either plywood treads or they might even be OSB treads. It's very rare that when you go into a home, especially a spec home, you pull the carpet off and you see hardwood underneath that can be finished. Builders don't put hardwood treads down and then carpet on top of it. Builders typically are going to do a much cheaper material like a pine tread or an OSB tread. Now, to that point, let me stop my share for a minute so that we can get a full camera angle. This is an example, and I hope you can see this well. This is an example of a tread. Now, it's not terribly wide, but I want you to see how thick this is, okay? This is a very, very thick piece of wood. Now, this is a structural stair tread. So this can sit, because of the thickness of this, that's an inch thick wood. This piece of wood can sit directly on the construction stringers. It can go directly on those structural stringers and form a structural piece, right? So and it's very rare that you're going to use a piece like that, but if you were building a staircase from scratch and your installers put stringers in place, you would order full stair treads. You would order a piece of wood that's this thick. And see, this one's already, it's rounded off on one side. It's flat on the other side. That's going to be the back. This is going to be the stair nose on the front. But that thickness is what indicates that this is a structural piece of wood, okay? Most of the time, you don't get something like that. Most of the time, and yes, I realize this is much smaller, but look at the thickness of this. This is much, much thinner. This is barely over a half inch. This is 5/8 of an inch thick. And it even has a finished nose on the front of it. This would end up being installed on top of that OSB tread. It would just go right on top of it, okay? So you pull the carpet off the stairs and then this ends up getting put on top of that OSB tread. Yeah, you've got a new riser. I'll show you that momentarily. But this is the kind of thing that you can order from StairTech, and they do come pre-finished, and we'll get into the details of that momentarily as well. You can also order stairs that have returns on them. So this, although it's a fairly narrow board, the point of this demo board is to show you that you've got this board that's finished on the front, but it's also finished on both sides. And you can order boards that are finished on the left, finished on the right, or finished on both sides. All right. One other thing to show you while I've got the camera this way, I just want to show you, just as a trim piece, all right, you've got a bunch of different stair noses that are available in the market. So this is an example. This might be a laminate stair nose. Okay, this is what's considered an overlap nose. So your laminate floor or your LVP floor, whatever the case might be, might sit right underneath here. And then this creates your stair nose. That's another stair nose. Okay, it's just another version of the same type of thing. Here's a very, very small stair nose. Now, I know that there are companies, I know that there's franchise owners even that will use these to create their treads. That's not truly the best way to do it. These are not really meant to be used on every stair tread, even though people do it all the time. When somebody steps on this, it creates a lot of body weight on that nose, and that nose can fail over time. So the point of these is not to put on every tread. The point of these is to put at the landing or at the hallway at the top of the stair, right? When you get to a landing, you have to have flooring to go on the landing. When you get to the hallway at the top, you have to have flooring to go in that hallway. When you're doing treads, it's better to just do treads, okay? So anyway, just to show you the difference between a stair nose versus a stair tread, right? So this is a full stair tread, 11 inches deep. This is just a stair nose. All right. Before we jump into StairTech stuff, I'm gonna shift gears for a moment, and I want to show you in the tablet the way that this is currently programmed. Now, as I'm switching over to the tablet, one thing that I'll tell you is, you know, Floor Coverings International, one of the things that I love about this company is that it is a company that is absolutely bent on continuous improvement. And I know that the Tech Task Force is currently working on some improvements to the stairs menus and the way that the tablet is going to do stairs. So if by the time you are watching this, your tablet ends up looking a little bit different than what I'm showing you here, that's great. It just means that you've got a more up-to-date software. So I'm just going to go into InspireNet. And I'll show you quickly. You probably already know how to create stairs, but I'll do it anyway. Click on the stair button. This is the current menu. And it says stairs name, so I can change that. Number of stairs, that's great. Width of the stairs. So this is reading. I'll just, before I change anything, what is this reading? Look at that. It says 4, and then it says inches. Does that mean that the width of the stairs is 4 inches? No, of course not. Remember, anytime you see two boxes, the first box is feet and the second box is inches. So for example, this might be 3 feet 8 inches wide, okay? The first box is always feet, the second box is always inches. The riser is 0 feet 7 inches. The tread depth is 0 feet 11 inches. Stairs type, and I know this is one of the things, this terminology is being adjusted slightly in this with the stair task force. but single upholstered straight, box straight, double upholstered straight. So all three of these are straight. That obviously that means that the staircase is straight. Single upholstered, doesn't matter if it's left or right, okay, but that means that it's finished or there's a return on one end. Boxed, of course, is it's not finished on either end. And double upholstered means that it's open on both sides. Okay, so just think about single upholstered, it's returned on one end, double upholstered both, or boxed is just, it's boxed. What does turned mean? So think about that for a moment. What does it mean for it to be turned? Well, the picture that I showed you where you've got the stairs that go up and then there's a landing and then it goes up again, that would still be considered a straight staircase, even though it quote unquote turned, even though your physical body went in a different direction. The stairs are still just straight stairs, right? Your human body turned on the landing, but the stairs didn't turn. The stairs are straight stairs. So turned, you might think of curved, right? You might think of stairs that have sort of a pie shape, the big Gone with the Wind staircase where, it goes up and it's a curved staircase. I think that terminology it might actually be changed in the next revision so that it says curved instead of turned, because that can be a little confusing. So if I had a staircase that was boxed, right? So it's not finished on either side, but it's turned. That means that it's a curved staircase, but I've got drywall on both sides, or I've got a skirt board on both sides. Just for simplicity, I'm going to leave this as box straight, and I'm going to leave it at 16 stairs. It's fine for what I'm about to do. So let's create a proposal here for this staircase. So I'm just going to select that and set install info. Now, again, with the new version, you're going to see some changes, okay? But for now, let's just leave it like it is. And product type at the moment, you can choose carpet, hardwood, or just sand and finish. Right now, I'm going to pick hardwood. And you'll notice that right now, you only get 3 items that pop up. Hard surface drop charge, box stair wood install, and oak stair treads, okay? So I want you to think of these not so much as a completed option, because it's not. I want you to think of these as placeholders. So when you think of box stair wood install, think of what is all of my labor that I need to install one stair tread and riser, because anytime you install a tread, you've got to install a corresponding riser. So what is my installation cost going to be to do the tread and the riser? Okay, so it's not just the tread, it's the whole stair. Then the oak stair tread, okay? I want you to think of this as more, what does it cost for me to do one stair step? So I need a tread, I need a riser, maybe I need some glue, maybe there's a trim piece or whatever, but all that cost, lump it together in one line. And you can adjust this so that it doesn't say oak stair tread. You can change the wording, right? So we could click the little pencil and we could say, we could take the oak out if we want to, and we could just call it stairs material if you want. I don't know, whatever floats your boat. And I can say, yep, okay, stairs material, fine. So now maybe that makes you feel better. Now that's the tread, the riser, the glue, whatever. So you've got a labor charge, you've got a material charge, and you've got a freight charge, okay? And whether or not these are the right numbers on the screen, don't worry about the numbers on the screen right now. This is just for you to sort of see the structure that's in the tablet. Now, let's say that you're watching this and the changes have already been made to the tablet and you've got the new stair builder. My understanding is that the old stair builder is still going to be an option. So if you want to use it this way, you can still use it this way. And I know a lot of people actually like it this way because they just leave it. It's a lump sum number and it's easy. I know that a stair tread and riser are going to cost this, and you put it in your price list that way. The cost to do one step is this, and instead of getting into too much minutia on every staircase, it's just very simple, basic, boom, to the point. Other people want to be able to see the functionality that's coming, so it'll be there. Okay, enough on the tablet. Let me bounce back out of the tablet momentarily. And come back over to the other screen. All right, so you'll see this is what we were talking about. You typically get 3 lines, or you do get 3 lines in the tablet today. Freight, installation labor, and the tread, but typically the tread means the tread, the riser, the trim. And just think of this as placeholders. Okay. So I want to bounce out of this momentarily, and let's just look at some stairs together. Okay. And it's fun. You can go to Google and type in hardwood stairs and go to the Google images, and you can just knock yourself out with all kinds of different things that you can see here, right? So here is an interesting staircase. You see, this is more of a modern stair nose. It's almost like it's a you don't have the rounded profile like you historically saw. Okay, but that's at least boxed on one side. It may be boxed on both, but for sure it's boxed on one side. This is a fun staircase because, you know, a realtor, you know, you got these spindles on this side. So a realtor might look at this and say, oh, it's an open staircase because it's open, you can see. But from a stair perspective, this is boxed, right? Because those treads end against this stringer or against this skirt board. You don't need a finished stair tread on either side. And then you get a staircase like this where, yeah, it's finished on this side, right? So this is in the middle of a renovation. But here you've got the stair tread, it's boxed on one side, it's got a right return, and then it's boxed on both sides when you work your way up. What else have we got? Oh, here's one that's open on both ends. So you might call this finished on both ends. You might call it upholstered on both ends. Because you can imagine if you were to put carpet, your installer would end up having to upholster around all these little balusters. Anyway, you can bounce through Google. A couple of other things to look at. Notice in this case, you've got the boards, the treads are stained, whatever color. It could be a dark color as well, like this one. The treads are stained, and then the risers are white. Okay, versus something like this that you know, the treads and the risers are the same color. Now it's very popular to see that contrast with especially with the darker wood, to see the darker wood tread and then the lighter, you know, the white riser. That's very, very common. But some people prefer that it's all, you know, it's all one color. You know, everybody has their personal preference, right? There's not a right or wrong. I personally would point out to the customer that, you know, when you see a contrast like this is going to help, especially at night, for you to be able to see where the stairs are, versus something like this where it's, you know, it's pretty dark. This is pretty dark all the way up and pretty, you know, monochromatic. Okay. That's fun. Let's take a look at StairTech. And I'm not going to go into all the details that Scott does. You can check out that video. But I will point out there's 2 different StairTech websites. You've got the StairTech, what I call the, you know, the public website. This is the website that everybody in the world can see. So you go to stairtech.com, and this is just their, you know, this is their website for the whole world to see. There's no prices on this website, but it's a great place for you to bring your customer to show them the names of stair parts, right? So you can show them what's the difference between a tread. Okay, treads are made of 1-inch thick solid wood. Okay, what's a return tread? Well, return treads are made out of 1-inch thick wood, and you've got the return. Okay, and of course you could have a right return or left return. What's a retread? What's the difference between a tread and a retread? Well, a retread is made of solid wood, but they're only 5/8 of an inch thick, right? So it's not as thick as a solid board. You can never use a retread. You can never use a retread as a structural member, right? You can't put that directly on the stringers. This would go on top of whatever the existing tread is. But if you have an existing tread, there's no reason to get a full tread. You don't need that extra thickness. So retreads are perfect. Return retreads, okay, same thing. Modern. So StairTech has the classic view of a staircase, but they also have the modern view, like we saw on the Google image. They do sell riser boards. They also sell nosing. So again, this is a good place. One of the things I like about their retail website, their public website, is this stair parts. Okay. And there's some other stuff here. I'll let you peruse this at your leisure. The Order My Stairs website, you will have a login to this. Now you've got to sign up for your own account with StairTech. But this is a really cool website because this is a website that allows you to build a staircase using the exact names, the exact colors, and then they'll color it for you. It'll be stained, it'll be finished. The treads show up to your door pre-stained, pre-finished, and ready to be installed. So if you sold a hardwood floor that's in your mobile showroom, and you picked a color, and the customer absolutely loved the color, and they want the stairs to match the floor, it's perfect because you can just tell StairTech this is the color that I'm doing. So for example, if I were to hit start quote, we're going to do a pre-finished floor. You can pick by manufacturer, by collection, or whatever. They've got thousands and thousands and thousands of colors in here. Three Rivers, it happens to be one of the colors that I know is ours. That's great. And so sample required simply means that they've done this color before, but it's been a while and they just want to sample just to make sure that the color hasn't drifted. But you'll see here, you can get treads, you can get risers, you can get all sorts of stuff. You can sort this. I need a left return modern retread. Okay, great. There it is, a left return modern retread. Okay, and when it comes, it's going to come in the color of the floor. All right, so I'm not going to go into how to use this. That's what the video with Scott is all about. Set up your account with StairTech and have a call with Scott Brown. He's happy to do one-on-one calls with you to get into this more. Stairs are actually a really, really neat way of increasing your average job size because stairs are expensive. I mean, a typical box staircase, depending on what your labor is in your area, you may be charging the customer $3,500, $4,500 to just do a staircase. They typically are expensive. I mean, I don't know by whose standards, but a lot of times when you tell somebody it's going to be $4,000 to do their staircase, there's a bit of a sticker shock. But that's what they are, and it's not just you. I mean, that's what it is. And so it's a great way of increasing your average job size. And more than that, it's just an increase. It's a way of making a real statement in the customer's home when you're changing the hardwood floor downstairs, and bam, you do that staircase, and the staircase just sets everything off. It's a wonderful way of finishing off the project. All right, so I've gone through all this. Like I said, later you can get into carpet on the stairs. A lot of what we just went through, vinyl and laminate and those things, that'll come later. But for now, a couple of things just to know: the stair terminology, understand what happens in the tablet, and if the upgrades are there, great, the upgrades are there. If not yet, they're coming very quickly. And then, of course, continue to watch through the StairTech portion of this module so that you can see how to use that Order My Stairs, the Order My Stairs website. As always, if you have any questions, please reach out. Thank you very much for your attention, and hey, study on.